So what is the significance of customer relationship management? So first one, we have better service to customers. So every company, they check for the good quality of services they offer to their customers, because today the customer is the key and the focal point. And then if services are poor, you can lose your customer. That is the first one. And then if services are not good, you cannot attract a new customer. You cannot get a referral of existing customers. And then you may lose some market, and then the competitor may take then an advantage and capture your new markets also. That is the reason today the companies are providing the best services to their customers. So if you want to give a best service, it is only possible through maintaining a good relationship. For maintaining good relationship, every time the companies has to post the messages or emails or newsletters to you, and then they are using the technology, and then they send messages and the e-brochures. For example, if you take Spencer's, every time they put a message to their customers regarding new offers or existing offers, today offer, or then Independence Day offer or Vinayak Chavithi special offer, something. So why they are promoting their products? Why they are every time put a message to you? The reason is that if they want to touch, or every time they want to maintain a relationship, it leads a good services, so that we can feel that they are offering better services. Even if you require that product, you may concentrate on it. They simply remember you. So these are all the concerns about customer relationship management. That's the reason we give priority for the customer services. So second one is customization of customization of market offerings. What is customization? So customization in the sense, the people, those who are ready to buy your product, and then the product is available for purchase, or you can buy the product, and then the product is customized, and then it means that it is available, and then it is immediately fulfill the needs of the customer. So that is the reason we have to customize our market and market offerings. So this is the one of the key significant aspect. And third one is reduction in customer defection rate. So we know what is defection rate. So every time the same customer didn't get the same service, we have a variability in services. That is the key characteristics of customer services. So that you have to reduce that defective rate. What is defective rate here? The defective rate in the sense, one time, at the first time you will get a delighted services. At the second time, you will not get it. So you can get a satisfactory service. The third time we can get only moderate. The fourth time we can satisfied service. So we have some changes in this particular service offerings by the companies. So here the defective rate is a key concern, and then the companies has to take the feedback from the customer and reduce of the defective rates. Here the rate is not a price; it is how many areas or how many years we are weak and strong. If this strong, we cannot consider it as a defect. It is a weak, we can consider it as a defect. So based on the defect areas identified the organization, they want to reduce it. Some particular areas we cannot reduce it. For example, the parking space of a restaurant, we cannot reduce the defective rate, because the availability of the parking area is not equivalent to the expected strength of your customers. If the parking area is only suitable for 30 people, and then the restaurant capacity having it is a 60 or 70, and then everybody come by car, it may be a trouble for the parking. So that is the reason we have to identify whether we can deal that particular defective rate or not. So if we can, so that we can reduce, otherwise we cannot reduce it, so that we can check for alternative things. So these are the importance of customer relationship, especially in defective rate. And fourth one is increase and improvement in long-term relationship. The CRM's objective is the long-term relationship. So today, no company, they are maintaining short-term relationship because every time we require customer, or every customer requires a product. So this is vice versa. It is a natural truth. So based on this particular formula, we can increase our relationship at a longer term rather than the short term. So if it is a longer term relationship, you should have a proper data and information about the customer, about their date of birth, about their salary, or about the company, the strength, or monthly expenditure level, everything you have a data. Then only you can maintain a long-term relationship. For example, if you take Amazon or Flipkart, these are e-commerce companies. They are providing the online services and online products for availability to their customers. Right? Once you search for a particular product, for every time they have to show till you have to purchase the same product in that product chamber. So otherwise, they send simply every time whenever you open that particular app or website, they simply show. So this item is already viewed, recently viewed. So this is the way they are maintaining a relationship. It is not a short term, it is a long term. Even though if you buy the similar product, they show till you have to search for new product. So then they will change that particular product. So this is what the long-term relationship. They never lose a single customer because every single customer means they have hundreds of work, hundreds of work. That is the reason they have to improve their relationship with the customers. They want to increase at a longer term so they can get more benefits out of this particular long-term relationship. So for example, if you buy a product if you take a refrigerator versus a bike. So when you purchase a refrigerator, you have very low improvement or low level of relationship by distributor or else company, because it is a short-term relationship maintained by the company. Because if you purchase a refrigerator, it means that you can use it for 10 years, right? But whereas if you take and there is no other replacement product or something happen for refrigerators, so you need not to maintain a relationship. Whereas in the case of bike, regularly they need to check their engine, the filters, or else any other parts, or else regular services required for two-wheeler. So that these companies, they maintain a good relationship at a long term. Even though if it is a 15 years, 16 years, we have to pay the service economy or service amount for the companies. So this is what they maintain the long-term relationship. Even you can take the four-wheelers or else any other companies which has a repeated purchase. So for example, you can take Airtel versus BSNL. For example, if you take in 2000 year, BSNL never send a message to their customers. But what about today? They send a regular messages about the new offers, new packages, new number, etc. and etc. The reason is that maintaining a relationship. That is the importance or significance of customer relationship marketing. All right. And fifth one is increasing customer equity. What is equity? Equity in the sense we prioritize or else we give preference to all your customers equally. So there is no bias or there is no this one partiality with any customer. So you have to increase the customer equity. For example, if there is an offer, yes, it is offer only for these customers. If you qualify that, you are getting that particular product or service. For example, BSNL offers internet or else the broadband facility to government teachers. So here, any government teacher can get that particular internet facility at a cost of 299. This is the promotional activity done by the BSNL. Whereas if you are not a government teacher, you cannot get that particular facility. So here, what is the equity? Equity only for restricted to the government teacher. Any government teacher can get that facility. So for example, we have an offer for students also. If you are a student, so that during your study, you can get an internet facility at ₹99 per month. So this is one type of offer given by BSNL. in 2010 or 2011. So we have these type of equities. What equity here? It is only for student, any kind of student. If you are studying 7th class, you can get it. If you are studying MBA, you can get it. So this is called equity. So once the company has given one particular offer or one particular service, it should equal for everyone. There is no bias. So 1 hour sale, it is only for 1 hour for everyone. So this is the new type of customer relationship maintained by the companies. For example, Flipkart in 2014 and 2017, they give 1 hour flash sale. So many people, they get the pen drive at 99 rupees, or sometimes they get at 1 rupee. So when they can avail that offer only at the checkout time. You cannot get it in the display on the app. So this is called a customer equity. So these are all the availabilities as the customer penetration modes through the customer relationship management. And sixth one is competitive advantage. So if you are maintaining a good relationship, automatically you will get an advantage. What type of advantage? The preference of your product will be the first, and then your competitor product is the next. So if you have created that such kind of environment, the product or else the producer will benefit it, and then the customers attracted more. It may be one of the key area, and then it is a challenge for the companies to attract their customers. It is not a simple task, and then most of the people, they can avoid this particular competitive advantage and get the benefits. For example, if you take Independence Day sale in Amazon versus Flipkart, some people, those who are waiting for maximum discounts on some products, they can get it. This is the thing we have observed in competitive advantage. So here the competition is very critical, and then this is only possible with CRM only. Even though if your product is very good, like Sony, you can take Sony versus LG in electronics, right? Sony has a good market value, and then they have a best brand image. But if you come to the sales, the LG has good sales. So here the thing is the price. So relationship may depend on different factors. It may be a price, or it may be a product quality, it may be a quantity, or it may be of anything. But you have to maintain a good relationship. So some people, they don't worry about the price, they worry about the quality. Definitely they bring only Sony product. So we have this such kind of differentiations among the brands, and then they can get a competitive advantage. Right. Seventh one is building and maintaining corporate image. So every company, they want to show them they are the corporate, and then they are one of the best in corporate world. So they are trying to build their brand image or corporate image. That will only possible through customer intake as well as stakeholders. So corporate image comes with only stakeholders rather than the sales. Even a small product has good sales, but it is not a corporate product, right? So that's the reason the companies has to invest more on these particular things. For example, if you take MX Player, they recently tied up with one video creating app, that is a TukTak. So TukTak is tied up with MX, and then they come with MX TukTak. So what is that remaining? MX is a corporate world. TukTak is a small app. When they're tied up with TukTak, as getting a corporate image in the short video segment. That's the reason they have to build and maintain a corporate image. So these are all very short, but they are maintaining a longer relationship when we are tied up with a corporate companies. It may be an advantage for smaller rather than the bigger. And next one is higher return on investment. Higher return on investment. So how can we get higher return? So simple thing. If you have good relations, and then if you have good network, and then we have positive prosperity among the customers, definitely customers has given the reference to their colleagues, and then their friends, etc., etc., so that we can get our investment as early as possible. So our return on investment is very less. For example, if you are expected for 5 years, you may, if the your relationship is good, and then if you are acquainted with the new networks, so that you can get your return in 4 years, so that you can get higher return on investment. So it is one of the possibility with customer relationship management. So better the now the new movies they are launching, or else they are releasing in a OTT platform. So recently we have a talk about the movie V. It has a good in film circle, and then the investment of that movie is 25 crores, and then the Amazon Prime is ready to purchase that particular movie at the rate of 33 crores. So the producer Dilraju has ready to buy it for Amazon Prime. So within a short term, they will get minimum returns, and then based on that, they will get more profits, right? As next topic is the theoretical perspectives of relationship. Theoretical perspectives of relationship. So here we have basically 5 theorems. So which may be boring, but you have to listen carefully. I am giving you very simple manner, and then I will give the PPT as well as the study material also. So before going to the theoretical perspectives of relationship, we have to know what is economics, and then how economics is very important for marketing. So that's we discussed in first semester. I think you will aware of how economics influences the marketing, right? We start with relationship marketing theory. So in relationship marketing theory, it deals with suppliers, internal market, referral market, and business market, and then the customer market. So what are the internal markets? Companies' culture, values, and belief. These create the internal market. It includes people, process, and groups. So here the internal markets, in sense based on the cultures of the CEO and the managing director, and then the decisions of the company, and then what values which are following, what the belief. So these are all create your internal market. For example, if you take Tata Group, the Tata Group has a great culture that they never take any of decisions which are opposing, or which are not considering the values, or else the national or the nationalism. So that's the reason they lose the contract with Pakistan to establish a four-wheeler manufacturing unit at free of cost. So they simply reject the project, and then they have to show their values towards their nation. So this is the internal market. So that the Indian people, they believe that this Tata Group is our company. So they have to create that culture and value among the markets, and then first you have to show it in internal market. Then only the people and the other group will influence to those market, and then it will expose to external markets, right? And second one is supplier market. The various suppliers and vendors on which company is dependent to create its final product make up the supplier market. So supplier market in sense we simply produce the products, and then we give it to the supplier. They will create the market for your company. So it is an external market, and then most dependent is the supplier. So here's the supplier and network, and the customer and the retailer with supplier relationships are very crucial for this particular market. Next one is the referral market. So the market itself, it has a name, it is the referral. So only satisfied customers or professional advisors, those who are checked the quality of your product, and then they will give reference to other people. So by the word of mouth communication, they promote your company, so that it will be a motivated bunch for your company for referral markets, right? And the fourth one is business market. So it's a purely external business environment, and which forms a business market for the company. They play a significant role in determining the success of your company. In business markets, generally we have to show a positive environment about your product, and then the brand. Maximum the people are attracted about your brand, and then next they will give preference to your product. If your business market, it has a good market reputation, so that obviously the people will attract, and then they will create an attention towards your products. Last one is customer market. This market consists of not only the end user, but also intermediaries who purchase products from the company. So here the customer market is mainly depend on intermediaries like retailers, wholesalers, agents, etc. and etc. They are the real transporters of your company products to the market, so that we will call them as a customer market. So the product is ready, available for satisfying their needs. They simply exchange their products with the value. Here the value is money. So transaction cost theory. In transaction cost theory, we have a question that why organization exists. So here we have four reasons for it. So first one is negotiating, monitoring, governing, and the exchange between people and firms. Exchange between people and firms. The organization exists for negotiating. What negotiating with suppliers and other people, those who are investing and then those who are running your organization. They are treated as the stakeholders of your company. Monitoring and governing. Monitoring in the sense, we have already covered what are internal markets and external markets, that we have to monitor properly so that your organization will get benefit. So governing, how manner you manage the external markets. It means how manage you suppliers and the market conditions, and then how manner you control the external environment. That cover and that covers the governing. And finally, we deal with customer. That is exchange between people and firms. Simple thing, we exchange with the people of price and some money, something. In previous days we have a barter system, but today we don't have any barter system. Every product has a price, and then based on the price we have to purchase. In the case of suppliers, it may be a bulk sale. So here the goal of the organization is to minimize the cost, and then the exchanging the resources in the environment, to minimize the cost of managing exchanges inside the organization. Every dollar of or every hour of a manager's time spent in negotiating or monitoring exchanges with other organizations or inside the organization is a dollar or hour not used for creating the value. So every minute is very important for the managers and the employees, so that it is treated as $1 for 1 hour, or else 1 rupee for 1 hour in Indian currency. So that 1 minute, sorry, 1 minute. So for every hour it is 60 rupees. So that if you are working for 8 hours, 8 into 6 rupees, the cost of that particular manager is 480. If you waste 1 hour, it costs 60 rupees. So this is the way your organization thinks. That is the reason you don't tough the time of organization. So transaction cost is a form of productive value. So another formula is the transaction cost is always a productive value. So if you reduce the transaction cost, you will get more products. Or else you can produce the more. You can produce the more. In simple thing, if you have the same 100 units of input and then you will get 100 units of output. For changing the technology, if you have 100 units of input, you will get 120 units of output. So that it is a productive value. That is required either based on the decreasing of transaction cost or else improving the quality of the process. It is only possible with the technology today. Right, this is one theory, and then we have resource dependent theory. Resource dependent theory. In resource dependent theory, organization mainly depend on the resources. So resource is the power, and then without a resource, we cannot get any of the relationship. So based on the situation or based on the potentiality of the company and then the other people, it needs some organizational resources that to achieve organizational objective. So the resource is always a dependent factor here. Without resource, you cannot do. If the people are there, but there is no raw material, you cannot process it. If the raw material is available and there is no people, you cannot process that particular raw material into finished goods, right? So that resource is dependent on something. So that is the reason this theory is called resource dependent theory. And next one is the strategic alliance theory. The proposed theory covers four major So in this strategic alliance theory, the proposed theory covers four major aspects of strategic alliances. And here we basically covered four major aspects. That is the rationale, it is the foundation or something. And then the formation. In formation, the most of the companies, they form for their own mutual understanding. Right? Sometimes your company may not be a profitable one, or sometimes it is in a wrong situation or else in a poor situation, so that you have to form a strategic alliance. Whenever what is the strategic alliance, right? Structural preferences and performances. Before going to that, we have to know what is strategic alliance. I think the most of the people, they know what is strategic alliance. It is an agreement between two or more firms that unite to pursue the common set of goals but remain independent after the formation of the alliance. So they unite to pursue the common set of goals. For example, if you take Sachem and Mahindra company, so we know very well the case of Sachem, and then the arrest of Ramalinga Raju. The company requires a powerful man, and then it requires a strategic alliance so that the Mahindra company deal, because they are in same line and then their projects are the same. Their projects are the same. That is the reason they go with the Ramalinga Raju's company. It's Sachem's company. So if we have the common set of goals, so that it may be very good for that particular alliance. So the formation is very easy, and then we continue with our own objectives and then the company's objectives. That is a very possible one. And then before going to that, why do companies need strategic alliances? So this necessity and then asymmetry, necessity of necessity of mutual principle, efficiency, stability, and the legality. So these six are the needs of strategic element. Necessity, avasaram, asymmetry, asamananga undadam, because our company requirement is different, our projects are different, so that we require a strategic alliance. For example, Nokia and Windows. Windows wants to come to the mobile manufacturing platform, and then Nokia requires a software program. So when these two are required, the people are immediately, they go and then tied up and they introduce Nokia Windows. Simple thing. So necessity of mutual principle. So mutual principle is if your two or objectives are common, so that you have a mutual principle. So that if you want to serve or if you want to give something output, it should be very mutual, and then we have same ideology and objectivity. So efficiency, stability, and legality. So we know very well if two companies tied, so that their efficiency will increase. Efficiency will increase. For example, Flipkart and eCart. eCart is the sister company of Flipkart, so that the efficiency will increase. Though now the Flipkart is not dependent on any courier services because they have their own sister company, so that the efficiency will increase. But eCart is registered with another name and the Flipkart is registered with another name. Their registrations are different, but they have a strategic alliance, right? Stability and legality. So for stabilizing your businesses, you may you may go with an alliance, and then the legality. It is also very important aspect in a strategic alliance. When you go for a strategic alliance, you should check the legality of your company, whether the company is a permanent company or else the temporary owners or temporary CEO. Everything you have to check, and finally you have to go with a strategic alliance. And then the last theorem is core competence theory. This is the last theory. And then before going to this theory, we have to know what are the core concepts of the relationship. So every relationship, it depends on the values and the attitudes of the company and the customer, and then behavior, consumer behavior, and then consumer skills or else your employee skills. Every time the people's role are very important for maintaining a relationship. The core competency theory is the theory of strategy that prescribes actions to be taken by firms to achieve competitive advantage in the marketplace. Every company, they try to get the advantage with their competencies. So if a product has a competency, it means that it states that the firm must play to their strengths or those areas or functions in which they have competencies. Every company, they have to functioning with their competencies. For example, if you take iPhone, they have their own competencies. They introduce the touch phone, and then they have their own security operating system, so that the people, those who are feeling are required, or their value is only protection, so that the people will give priority for iPhone. So Android is a free. It's an Android is a free OS, and then it is by the one of the key Google. So we have this type of competencies among the companies, and then they have to show, and then they have to use their core competencies, and then they get the benefit in the marketplace. So every company, they want to try for it. So for example, if you take we have a great scope of music and camera. So Vivo and Oppo, they publish, or they promote their product is more worthy for camera and music. So these are all the platforms they use their competencies. And recently we have launch of 50 megapixel cameras, and then 108 camera by Chinese product. So these are all the core companies. They want to show, yes, they are very powerful, and then they have their own competencies, which are more attractive touch points of the customers, so that they will get a competition, right?